introduced into the Nicene Creed. You know, you've already learned about the Nicene Constantinopolitan Creed, which helped to define the divinity of Christ, the Trinitarian doctrine, right? The whole Trinitarian doctrine. The Greeks believed that the whole of the Trinity had, in terms of procession, had one origin, Father, and it was important to assert that. And following the original Nicene Creed, they would profess that the Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father, just from the Father. Right? In the West, there was some question about, in the Arian controversy, about the divinity of the Son. And so some places in the West introduced the phrase, "and from the Son," to bolster the notion that Christ is divine. He is God. Just as the Father is God, so is the Son God. And the way to do this is to say that the Holy Spirit proceeds not just from the Father, but from the Father and the Son. But the Greeks see this as an innovation, as a dangerous innovation, all right? Because they see it as leading to kind of identification of the Father and the Son, a mixture of the persons. In Eastern Orthodox Trinitarian theology, the temptation is really to see the three persons as distinct. Right? And so you run into the temptation in the East tends towards kind of tritheism, right? Three gods. In the West, it's the opposite temptation, to see them all as somehow one, a monody, right? One God. That's the emphasis. So that's the main kind of source of tension between the two traditions, and that's why they would have been so up in arms. It was also seen as the hallmark doctrine that distinguished the East from the West. So, considering that the West has just so recently come and ravaged their own land, deposed their emperor, desecrated their major basilica, Hagia Sophia in Constantinople. They were likely very sensitive to particularly to this doctrine as the kind of hallmark doctrine, the thing that makes us different from them.
Is that still held today with the Eastern Rite? I mean, not the one that's joined with Rome, but the Orthodox.
The Orthodox still have a problem with the filioque, although I gather from sort of secondhand information from people like Father Allen, who knows much more about this than I do and can probably more adequately answer your question. But that it's not such a big problem today for the East because of the understanding of the East would always still have said that the Spirit temporally proceeds from the Son. That is, Christ says, "I am sending you the Paraclete," the Holy Spirit, while He's with His apostles here on earth. And so they would always understand that the Spirit does proceed from the Son in some way. They would not acknowledge that He eternally proceeds, but they would. It's not such a big question today. However, it's really the papacy, the authority of the papacy, that the papacy claims, that is probably the much more difficult and thorny question. Yes?
Did I understand you to say that Michael Paleologus had something to do with reestablishing the Eastern patriarch in Constantinople?
he,
1274 onward, there was an Eastern patriarch buried.
pardon me?
So from about this period of time, 1274 or shortly thereafter, there was an Eastern patriarch in Constantinople again.
Yes.
What was your question?
The question was that did Michael Paleologus reinstitute the Eastern Patriarchate of Constantinople with? I mean, did he? Is this from this point of time? Is there a Greek Patriarch of Constantinople? And yes, that's so. He recaptures Constantinople, and of course then the Eastern clergy return, and it becomes and the Western Patriarch is ejected, and an Eastern Patriarch is elected.
So this was done by force of arms.
Well, yes, but they would rightfully claim that it's their clergy who should really be the ones who elect the Patriarch of Constantinople, but they're really the original occupants. So that would be their argument.
I appreciate that, but you said he recaptured it, so that suggests that there was force used.
Oh yeah, force of arms. That's right. Yeah, he recaptured it militarily from the west. Yes.
So long ago when y'all was debating about, is there more than one St. Louis? Is St. Louis, Missouri named after St. Louis? Like a lot of out west in California, like San Bernardino and all them, that San Francisco, all that out there.
I'm not sure. I think it might be. I think St. Louis is named for St. Louis, the king. But don't quote me on that.
Well, it's just that Louisville was after Louis,
Yeah.
Louis.
Yeah. So, well, there's St. Louis Bertrams. I mean, there's not a St. Louis.
I'm just saying, because isn't that like the only saint state we have or something?
I don't.
A city named, saint something?
Yeah, I don't know. Yes.
Just one comment on his comment here. I know the St. Louis is named after a French king, St. Louis. I don't know the king's number.
If it's St. Louis, it has to be this Louis.
It is. Yeah, I do know that.
She said
It's a different Louis than.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well.
I did have a question for you, though, Father.
Yes.
This may be a little bit off topic, but there's another phrase in the creed that there's a disagreement about.
Yeah.
And I think it has something to do with Jesus being, Jesus wanting to be with the Father. When did that disagreement come up between the East and West?
One in being with the Father. I don't think there's any difficulty with between East and West on the Son being one in being with the Father.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's I think the only area of controversy is the filioque. I think we're kind of getting close to the end of our time here, so allow me to move on to the council.
We go to 8:30.
You go to 8:30?
Yeah, we do it right.
Okay, great.
We're doing great. You're doing a great job.
Okay.
I think probably I don't know if New York by now.
Okay. When do you usually take your break? Whenever's good. Why don't we take it right now? Okay, very good. Let's take a break right now, and then we'll come back for the Council of Vienne.